that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wheel and grinding mortar in the fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with great speed. So that's Supreme Lord Sri Damodar. I offer my humble obeisances.
Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with tears, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound, who was bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning in the heavens of Gokula and full of ecstasy, and revealing to those devotees who absorb the knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence, that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you were able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal and Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, and is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bamboo fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face ever be manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you, O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord. Be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in the ocean of worldly sorrows, and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvar were delivered from the prince of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your prema bhakti. I only long for this, and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodar, first of all, offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer my obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord who displays unlimited pastimes.
Namam Ishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam Yashodabhiyolukhaladhavamanam Paramrishtamatyanto Dritya Gopya Paramrishtamatyanto Dritya Gopya Jantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Rijantam Karam Bhoja Yugmena Satanka Netram Moho Swasakam Patri Rekhanka Kantha Stitha Graivam Damodaram Bhakti Baddham Dikshvalilabhirananda kunde Swagosham nivajjantam akyapayantam Tadiyashitagneshu bhaktejitatvam Punah prematastang shattavriti vande Varam deva
मोक्षं वजम्बा न चायमृणेऽहं परिषदपि एदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याविरास्तं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखं भोजमत्यन्तनीलैर्हृतं कुण्ठलैः स्निग्धरक्तश्च गोप्या मोहश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनस्याविरास्तं मलं लक्षलभै नमो देव दामोदरानन्द विष्णो प्रसीदा प्रभो दुःख जलधिमग्ना दृष्टिवृष्याति दिनं बतानु गृहाणेश मामज्ञ मे दक्षिदृश्य कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमुतैव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकाम्ये प्रयच्छ न मोक्षगृहमेऽस्ति दामोदरे नमस्तेस्तु धाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायाथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयै प्रियायै नमोऽनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् नममीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुन्दलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम् यशोदाभियोलोकलाधवमानं परामृष्टम् अत्यन्तधृत्य गोप्या यशोदाभियोलोकलाधवमानं परामृष्टम् अत्यन्तधृत्य गोप्या Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Shruta Shadashishan Nisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Swam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Shruta Shadashishan Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavandi ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mathura Dham ki Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki, all glories to Assembled Devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to Assembled Devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtavadaya Shrimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namani Namo Prashtavadaya Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani Namo Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Adi Pashita Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kaumarim Darshayan Cheshtam Prekshणीयां व्रज ओकसां रुदन इव हसन मुग्ध बाला सिंह अवलोकनः कौमारीं दर्शयांश्चेष्टाम् प्रेक्षणीयां व्रजौकसाम् रुदन्नीव हसन्मुग्ध बालसिंहावलोकनः कौमारीं दर्शयांश्चेष्टाम् प्रेक्षणीयां व्रजौकसाम् रुदन्निव हसन्मुग्ध बालसिंहावलोकनः कौमारीं दर्शयांश्चेष्टाम् प्रेक्षणीयां व्रजौकसाम् रुदन्निव हसन्मुग्ध बालसिंहावलोकनः. Please repeat.
Kaumarim darshayam
Jeshta
Vikshaniyam Rajokasam
Rajokasam
Daniva Sambuddha Kaumarim darshayam sheshta Vikshaniyam Rajokasam Udan iva hasanmudha Bala simhavalokanaha
Kaumarim darshayam cheshtam Rekshaniyam vrajokasam Udan nivahasan mugdha Bala simhavalokanaha
Kaumarim darshayam chestam Prekshaniyam vrajokasam Udanivahasan mugda Balasimhavalokanaha
Kaumarim darshayam shreshtham Prekshaniyam rajaukasam Udaniva hasan mugda Balasimhavalokanaha.
Okay, Mataji's. Balasimhavalokanaha. Kaumarim darshayam cheshtam Balasimhavalokanaha. Kaumarim, just suitable to childhood. Darshayan, while showing. Cheshtam, activities. Prekshaniyam, worthy to be seen. Vraja Okasam, by the inhabitants of the land of Vrindavan. Rudan, crying. Iva, just like. Hasan, laughing. Mugdha, struck with wonder. Bala Simha, lion cub. avalokanaha. Looking like that. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the Lord displayed His activities just suitable for childhood, He was visible only to the resident of Vrindavan. Sometimes He would cry and sometimes laugh, just like a child, and while doing so, He would appear like a lion cub. Purport: if anyone wants to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord, then he has to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vraja, like Nanda, Upananda, and other parental inhabitants. A child may insist on having something and cry like anything to get it, disturbing the whole neighborhood, and then immediately after achieving the desired thing, he laughs. Such crying and laughing is enjoyable to the parents and elderly members of the family. So the Lord would simultaneously cry and laugh in this way and merge His devotee parents in the humor of transcendental pleasure. The incidents are enjoyable only by the residents of Vraja, like Nanda Maharaj, and not by the impersonalist worshippers of Brahman or Paramatma. Sometimes when attacked in the forest by demons, Krishna would appear struck with wonder. But He looked on them demons, Krishna, when attacked in the forest by demons, Krishna would appear struck with wonder, but He looked on them like the cub of a lion and killed them. His childhood companions would also be struck with wonder, and when they came back home, they would narrate the story to their parents, and everyone would appreciate the qualities of their Krishna. Child Krishna did not belong only to his parents, Nanda and Yashoda. He was the son of all the elderly inhabitants of Vrindavan and the friends of all contemporary boys and girls. Everyone loved Krishna. He was the life and soul of everyone, including the animals, the cows, and the calves. Om Jnana Temarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Grive Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swabadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamallam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupa Sagra Chatam Sagra Rakanatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savaditam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vyakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavanda Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneswari Vrishavanasute Devi Pranamami Hripe Vanchakapadravesha Kripa Sindhibhe Vijapatitanam Pavinebhyo Vishnabhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtabhadale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitinamane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtabhadale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmasphatikakridmadharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagribam Upasmahe. Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoy Vigna Vinashana Nayasya Hai Nijavanchita Purana. Okay, so continuing on, Remembrance of Lord Krishna by Uddhava, now describing the childhood pastimes of Krishna. And as we'll sing every day this song, Damodar Ashtakam, it gives us Krishna book gives us the insight into all of these pastimes, but this song specifically gives us the mood and the essence of all of these pastimes, of Krishna's childhood pastimes, specifically relating to this verse, that he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. And he's revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supremacy, majesty, and opulence, that he is only conquered by devotees who pure love is imbues in intimacy and is free from all conception of awe and reverence. So it's a very deep understanding of devotional service, or the highest understanding of existence one can have of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in this mood of loving affection. And obviously there's different degrees of that, but the specific relationship being discussed here is of parental affection, this Vatsalya Bhav, this mood of affection towards one's child. And that is what Uddhava is remembering here, how he used to specifically play, and how that activities was only revealed to those who were within Vrindavan. And so Krishna is exhibiting these pastimes in order to attract the living entities, not the living entities of this material world, but as being explained here, the living and the different jivas that are also there in Vaikuntha. He's revealing to those that he can only be conquered by that love, pure love in Vrindavan. So Krishna, by his activities, the name himself attracts, as Prabhupada says many times in his purports. Krishna himself attracts the living entity. He's very attractive. So by his activities, which are non-different, they attract the living entity to love Krishna, to increase his affection towards Krishna. And so here we see being described the childhood pastimes, and Srila Prabhupada begins the whole purport by mentioning that if anybody wants to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord, then he has to follow in the footsteps of residents of Vraja, like Nanda, Upananda, and other parental inhabitants. A child may insist on having something and cry like anything to get it, disturbing the whole neighborhood, and then immediately after achieving the desired thing, he laughs. So we've seen this many times. If you've ever taken care of your little, nephews or, little kid, if you've ever taken care of any little kids, they are like this. Generally, they just cry over nothing, and then as soon as they get what they want, they're happy. We've seen that many times. And also, or like one way that we were looking at this a few days ago was that this parental affection, at least to some, even in India, you'll see that when that is exhibited, sometimes people will say, my Gopal. My spiritual master was mentioning like that. Oh, this is my Gopal. And he was mentioning like that one sees this, a parent is meant to see this as a representative of Krishna. That this is the type of affection that is going on in the spiritual world, obviously unconditionally. But it is a representative that in that way one is meant to become Krishna conscious. It's like even from tradition, when a little kid is naughty and doing all of these things, naturally their parents, because they're, you grow up hearing the pastimes of Krishna when you're a kid, think of it like my Gopal. They'll say like that, but they may not have a full understanding of it in terms of Siddhanta and all of this. But that thing is there, to remember Krishna when even seeing your own kid. And so that parental affection is actually conceived to some extent. But we're speaking about how in modern society, such conception isn't even conceived of. How can that exist? Just like mothers don't have love for their children. Just like you can go to the airport. I saw this when I was at the airport. There's this new thing nowadays called iPad kids. Anybody heard of that? Yeah? iPad kids, It's literally like, what happens is the kids can't behave, the parents don't have the love and affection to give the children time to teach them what love real means or show them what real love is, so the children, grow up in an atmosphere of just the neglect, as Mothers and Masters describes a lot. The women just go to work, the children get sent to some nursery or something else, and they develop all sorts of bad habits and this and that, and it's clear for the child that the mother doesn't really love them. So the child develops this habit, the mother develops this habit of, instead of actually taking the time out to nurture and love that child and take care of it, just give it an iPad. And what's on the iPad is just generally just like the scrolling business. Or they put on some kids, what is this Baby Shark thing that has like there's this thing called Baby Shark on YouTube, and it's got how many million views? Something billion. More than a billion. The babies of the modern society are the biggest watchers of YouTube. It's some billion. Anyways, maybe somebody can pull it up. It's really stupid. Because it's a children thing, huh? The Johnny thing? Oh, Johnny, yes, Papa. That's another one. 14 billion views. That's almost double the population of the whole world. And it's going to keep growing. It's never going to stop that. And they just keep putting out new ones somehow. I don't understand. So instead of actually loving the child and taking care of the child and showing what love really means, you just hand him an iPad and let them become absorbed in that. And so two things happen. The mother doesn't develop this affection or love for the child, and the child doesn't develop love and affection for the mother. So the whole conception of actually a family and loving relationship, which Srila Prabhupada says is the closest thing to love in the material world, is actually even lost. It's not even there. So what is our conception of love? It's some fairy tale. it's some fairy tale in a movie. It's actually completely based upon the concrete idea of, well, I am the enjoyer. That is this mentality, especially as the Bhagavatam tells us, that women should specifically be under the control of a man or under the shelter of a man. Because otherwise, naturally, women are selfish, as the Bhagavatam describes. And you see that in modern society, feminism is prominent, or has been promoted, so the women are selfish, they'll kill the children in the womb. That thing, that child in the womb, which is meant to be in the material world, the closest thing that you can experience to what real love is no longer there. Because that selfish attitude is becoming more and more prominent. So we see that the conception of love itself, or the conception of, we're specifically discussing childhood pastimes of Krishna, this loving relationship with Krishna in the parental affection, parental love, it's hard for people to even conceive of. How can they even think about it? How can, as time goes on, we'll see as Kali Yuga progresses, the relationship between a father, mother, and a child becomes weirder and weirder and weirder. Now you have two mothers, and then two fathers. Where Nanda Yashoda, the Supreme Father and Supreme Mother, it's no longer mother and father. So what's going on? And what's going to go on as time goes on? It's ridiculous. I mean, you can already see how it's getting crazy. So we're discussing these things, but as time goes on, just like people nowadays, we used to farm a lot back in the day. Who was saying that? 95% of people used to be farmers, something like that? Who was Navini Hoda was saying that?
About 100 years ago, even in America, 97% of the population was engaged in either directly farming or farm-related.
Right. You would go to the farm to get your food products, and you'd go approach your farmers. But now, you ask any 17-year-old, ask any 15-year-old, can you eat that fruit of a tree? You say, absolutely not. You say, no. Can you drink that water that is in the stream that is pure in the mountains? No. What are you doing? No conception of that you can actually eat a fruit of a tree. Without which, that's what you do anyways. You go to but they think, you have to get fruit from Walmart. This would have been inconceivable to someone 100 years ago, that some kid, when you're kids, if you grew up I guess everybody grew up in the city mostly, but if you grow up in a farm environment, from when you're young, you're just taught, this is the berries you can eat, these are the things in the forest that you can't eat, these are fruits that you can eat, there's fruits in the forest, particular herbs that you can take. You're taught like this. There's like particular we were taught when we were young, when you take out the goats and the cows out for pasturing, you can actually, there's this particular, it's really hard to see, it just looks like grass or looks like ferns. But you can pull it out and there's water and there's juicy little, it's like grapes, but it's not, it's like some sort of, I don't know what you call it, but it's like wild berry sort of thing. You pull it out and you take that and it hydrates your whole body. It completely hydrates you. And you're told like this. So 100 years ago, to have the conception that you can't take fruit of a tree, if you notice people who have fruits and flowers on their yards, they just let it die. They don't pick it. In Australia, if you picked it, it's like you get in trouble from someone else's house. They have really nice red-looking pomegranates, and it just dies on the tree. And then they go to the store and spend, $10 per kilograms or whatever, some pounds for pomegranate. But they won't take it off the tree. Or grapes. Grapes goes like anything in where I'm from. They won't take it. Or figs across this road. There's a bunch of figs on this fig tree. They cut the fig tree down. That's so sinful. And there's another one down there. But then, they'll just let the fig go. Figs are so expensive. It's so healthy for you. But they can't even recognize I can pick this and eat this, and I don't have to go to the store and buy all these fruits. I have opulence right outside my house. So similarly, there's some idea of parental affection right now in this world. But as Kali Yuga progresses, the affection and love of that will even not be there. It's like, what is that? What is it going to be? We don't know. It's kind of inconceivable, just like it's inconceivable to the farmers back in the, or any common, man back in the day that you can't eat a fruit of a tree. It's a ridiculous idea. Even for me, when I would come to Australia and see that people are not picking fruits of their own trees and eating it, this is ridiculous. You have so much here, just take it, but nobody would take it. So this parental affection, that loving affection towards one's child is even being lost. That is the culture of this Kali Yuga. But we see, when that is developed properly, and it is done with proper understanding, that can also lead to this highest platform of following the resident of Raja like Nanda and Upananda. But people cannot understand. And what do people speak of general people? Even those who study the Vedas, those who are studying the Upanishads, those who are studying yoga, jnana, they cannot understand also. They cannot understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is running away from Mother Yashoda. Is a little child and is being tied up by Mother Yashoda. How can he understand this? He cannot understand this. Generally, the conception of a yogi is that, what? Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginya. That is the yogi. He who, meditates upon Krishna, concentrates upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, tries to capture him in his heart. And generally, meditation means you sit down and the traditional way of the Ashtanga yoga system is you sit down and you concentrate the mind, such and such, and then the yogis and the jnanis, they try to meditate upon the heart of the Supreme Lord, and their conception of the Supreme Lord is generally either impersonal, or that he's great awe and reverence. If he's getting chased by a middle-aged woman in a village and being tied up, why would I want to meditate upon him? Who's that? Why, I want someone great, as my spiritual master relates like this. That they want to, someone that's almost inconceivable, grave, powerful. He's not powerful, he's being conquered by some middle-aged woman. He's not powerful at all. What kind of power does he have? It's inconceivable, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur relates in the Brahma Samhita, in this particular verse, Pantashta koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayoratapi manasa munipungavanam sopi asti yat prabhadisimni avachinta tattve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to understand out the differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that the attainment of the lotus feet of Govinda consists in the realization of unalloyed devotion. The Kaivalya, realized non-alternative state, which is attained by Ashtanga yogis by practicing trance for thousands of millions of years, and the state of merging into the non-differentiated impersonality of Godhead beyond the range of limitation attained by non-dualists after a similar period passed in distinguishing between the spiritual and non-spiritual, and eliminating things of limited sphere one after another by formula, not this, not that, are simply the outskirts of the lotus feet of Krishna and not the lotus feet themselves. So he specifically mentions the point that he only approaching this outer skirts of the lotus feet of the Lord, not the lotus feet itself. The long and short of the matter is Kaivalya or merging into the Brahman constitute the line of demarcation between the world of limitation and the transcendental world. So the yogis, they can't even conceive of this, of how Mother Yashoda is running after Krishna, how Krishna, he himself is taking that position of a young boy who is completely dependent on his mother. He's not happy that she's not feeding him. He's not pleased. Is not understandable as being described in this. Only those within the realm of Vrindavan could conceive of the pastimes of Krishna. His activity just suitable for childhood was only visible by the resident of Vrindavan. They could see why, because Premanjana Churito Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilokiyanti Yang Shama Sundaram Anchinta Guna Surupam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Premanjana Churita, their eyes They had the eyes of love to see. They were anointed with the eyes of love. So they could see. But the yogis who stop their breathing process, who conserve their breath, who travel at the speed of the mind, cannot even approach the outer, the light that comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet, the outer sphere of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is very difficult to understand, but Mother Yashoda, my spiritual master, relates, who is breathing very heavily, chasing after Krishna. And Krishna is also breathing very heavily, running away from Mother Yashoda. And she is the greatest yogi of all. Yogi nam api sarvesham madgatena rantar atmanaha. Who's thinking more about Krishna than Mother Yashoda when she's running after Krishna. But the traditional understanding of a yogi who, is the breathing process, making sure that you don't waste your life there by, I think Mother Yashoda is seemingly just breathing very, very heavily and running after Krishna. So it is not understandable. You cannot conceive of it. So yoga, the whole conception of yoga, it more or less doesn't come to Vrindavan. The real yoga, which means to meditate upon Krishna, of course, it is the highest form, but the understanding that is there, that yoga more or less doesn't even enter Vrindavan. Nobody's sitting there, Yashoda, and the rest of the Vrindavan Vasis are not sitting there trying to do some yoga or some meditation in some pose like this. They're too busy, right? What is it you were quoting yesterday? Man's work begins from sunrise to... But a woman's work is never done. So you see Mother Yashoda and the gopis of Vrindavan, the elderly gopis, their work was never done. She's always working. And Guru, my spiritual master, specifically mentions that this is the time of Dipavali. Diwali or both. Diwali. And in that time, everything is very busy. So Mother Yashoda is working very hard. She's like organizing everything. Guests are gonna come. I have to cook this, have to cook that. So how many preparations are prepared by the mothers in Dipavali? It's a lot, right? Unlimited amounts. They just keep working and working and working. So she's working very hard, trying to get everything together, while Krishna, he decides to call a bunch of monkeys and go and steal yogurt and do all of these things. And Krishna being a child, she's not happy. And Krishna, he's such a boy that he himself, he goes and takes this yogurt, not just in his own home, in many places all the time in his pastimes, and feeds it to the monkeys. And this pastime, it satisfies actually the gopis of Vrindavan, different gopis of different places, houses. He goes and steals the yogurt, and they complain to Mother Yashoda that this boy is coming and he's spoiling our yogurt. We're hiding it, and he still comes, and somehow he finds it. We turn the lights off, it's dark. Somehow with his effulgence, they're able to find it. So they start to relate that, and obviously, and then they're in a very angry mood. But as soon as Mother Yashoda tries to chastise him, say, "Don't do anything to this boy. Why are you doing something to this boy? Just don't worry about it. We'll forget it. We'll forget about it." And my spiritual master relates that they would often say, this boy is coming and doing so many, he passes urine and stool in some places, right? In some people's houses, in some people's houses, monkeys enter. All of these crazy things which would fry you out. And they're fried out, and then they complain, and then when he doesn't come for a while, where is that Gopal gone? Why is he not coming anymore? Tell him to come back. Although they're not happy, seemingly, at the same time they're merged in transcendental bliss. They're merged in ecstasy to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His pastimes. And this mood of, there's the you could say, rasa of being angry, but extremely joyful at the same time to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead perform His pastimes. And so Krishna, he performs all these activities, and as we still haven't found that word where he performs all those pastimes to satisfy everyone at once. He satisfies the monkeys, he satisfies Nanda Maharaj, he satisfies Yashoda, he satisfies all the gopis, he satisfies the cows, the calves, all at the same time. And he specifically satisfies these monkeys by feeding them. And my spiritual master relates that in the before, when he was Ramachandra, the monkeys had to work very hard. They had to go and fight and all of these things. But this time, he wants to let the monkeys just enjoy. So he's just taking this butter and distributing it. Just distribute. And the monkeys are enjoying life with Krishna. And the gopis are, the elderly gopis are enjoying, seeing that the Supreme Personality Godhead has come to play. And so the mood of anger, the mood of chastising Krishna is very prominent, you'll see in those pastimes. There's always a complaint about Krishna. And it's the rasa that enhances the affection for Krishna. As Prabhupada relates, and it specifically makes when I read this, makes me think about Srila Prabhupada, when his father bought him that one gun, and then he wanted a second gun. And his mother was like, no, you can't have a second gun. And then he was complaining to his father. Specifically makes me think of that when I read this. But a child, generally, by their nefarious activities or their naughty activities, it creates love and affection for the father and mother. When the father and mother, even when you grow up, your mom and dad will tell you all of the naughty things that you did when you were young. Maybe is that also in the West? Yeah. And even all your relatives, they will tell you, when you grow up and you have kids, I'm going to make them do the same thing to you. Do you get that here too? Or is it just us? Okay. You get that. They remember, and you can see they're happy, remembering the all of the mischievous things that you did. There's a level of pleasure they get out of remembering that. And of course, this is a perverted reflection of it because it's in the material world. But that transcendental pleasure is ultimately coming from this pastimes of that this perverted pleasure is coming originally from the pastimes of Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, she is situated on the platform of this loving affection to Krishna. He's a very naughty boy. He's a very mischievous boy. But she is in transcendental bliss, or in anger, transcendental anger, chasing after him. And my spiritual master relates like this also. He says, Kala Yavana was also chasing after Krishna. He was chasing after Krishna in anger. And he was running after Krishna. And Mother Yashoda was also doing the same. But it was on a completely different platform. It was the anger that was exhibited was not just simple mundane lust, as we read in Bhagavad Gita. From lust comes anger. But that's not the platform of Mother Yashoda. This is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. That is, it is on the platform of this Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhish Tabhirya Eva Nijaya Rupateya Kalabhihi Goloka Eva Nivasti Akilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this is on the platform of Anandam Chinmaya Rasa. How can I love him more? Even by chastising him. And Krishna is feeling afraid of that anger. He's not feeling afraid of Kala Yavana. He doesn't care. All of these demons come. Even Putana comes and performs that pastime. He's not scared. He's not worried. And he sees so many demons, as we see here. Agasura, Bakasura. All of these demons are coming and they're scary looking, especially Bakasura, my God. It's a big snake. But Krishna is just looking on. He's nonchalant. He just don't care. He's whatever. He's just there. He's like, oh, let them walk into the mouth, whatever. He doesn't even stop him. Agasura is the snake. Yeah, Bakasura is the one on the left over here. So, he's letting them just walk into the mouth of a snake. But you see, he's not fearful of the demons, but then he's fearful of Mother Yashoda. How is that understandable? How is that understandable that he is so afraid? And you see, he's tied up, and then he's crying. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is crying at his being related here. It's mentioned that he would cry on the kajal, right? What is that called in eyeliner? Is coming down, mascara is coming down. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is tied up, is bound up, is scared, is in anxiety, is stressed out by a middle-aged woman in Vrindavan, some village. But then you can see he performs a pastime and conquering so many demons is ridiculous. Specifically relating here that like a simhava lokanaha, like a lion cub, even performing that pastime of a lion, killing the greatest demon in the entire universe. Lord Nishinga is not scared, he's not afraid, he's not fearful. But Krishna is fearful, who is the fountain. Tipachari evahi dashantaram abhipetya. That the original personality of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adi Purusha, he is afraid. So how is this understandable? It's not. It's inconceivable. Chinta beda beda tattva is not conceivable. We cannot conceive of this because it's on the platform of love. And specifically that Krishna cannot be conquered by any strong demon or any strong person or some yogi or some great scholar of this world or some great materialistic person. All of these things they think they can conquer. But the real Krishna is only conquered by the love of his devotees. And so my spiritual master relates that the bhakti is even greater than Krishna. That is the only thing greater than Krishna. And the yogis are shocked because the jnanis are jnana, knowledge, impersonal realization. Merge into the absolute truth. But there's no, it's beyond that in Vrindavan. There's no anger for the jnanis. You just merge into the nothingness, into the Brahman, that's it. There's no feeling of anger, there's no feeling of love. But Yashoda, she has that. She has that, and it's transcendental, it's completely beyond. One cannot understand it. But that bhakti, how that bhakti is able to conquer Krishna and bring him to the point in which you can completely tie him up. How is that possible? So the love and affection of the Vrindavan Vasis, specifically in this childhood pastimes of Krishna, is inconceivable, but it's madhuram, it's sweet. It's unlimited amount of sweetness, everything he does. It's inconceivably sweet. And so we see that his childhood pastimes, when he is subordinate to his devotees, whose love and affection is overflowing, that their love and affection grows more and more. And they don't, to the extent, even in Vrindavan, they don't see him as, Krishna, as is being related in this song here, Damodarashtakam, that beyond awe and reverence, which is imbued, that beyond majesty and opulence, his pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conception of awe and reverence. The gopis of Vrindavan, they didn't give so much significance to even Narayan himself when he was there with the opulence and his majesty. They were too absorbed. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? So same with the parental affection. Where is Krishna? They do not even think about Krishna's majesty. They have no conception of it. They're completely absorbed in just the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Why are they attracted to him? For no reason. Just that he's beautiful. That's it. He's beautiful and we love him. That's all. There's no real cause to it. It's causeless. It's just we love him. We're just attracted. Why are you attracted? I don't know. I'm just attracted so much by him. Just the love that is just flowing everybody. The boys, the girls, the cows, the animals, the what are those? The nilgai. What are those? They're the deer. It's like the blue, not buffalo. It's like deer. They look like deer. They call them nilgai. Nilgai means like blue cows, but they're not particularly cows. they become struck with wonder. Specifically in this Brahma Mohana Leela, when Krishna, he fulfills the desire of the Vrindavan Vasis to have him as his son, to have him as the calves. He actually fulfills this parental affection of all of the entities, especially the cows, calves, and the Vrindavan Vasis. And their affection grows more and more, and they don't know why. That I'm loving this, my child, who I had before, and I'm attracted to him more and more and more. But with Krishna, he's taking that. Krishna he himself is expanding himself and coming in that form, in all of those cowherd boys and calves, to be attracted and to be conquered. And my spiritual master relates, even Duryodhan wanted to conquer Krishna. He wanted to tie him up. But when he was trying to do so, Krishna appeared in many places and he was completely bewildered. But at the same time, when with love, Vrindavan Vasis, Krishna himself, just like with Duryodhan, he willingly expanded himself. In the Brahma Mohan Leela, he expands himself and allows his devotees to conquer him. It's how can we understand this, any of this? Uddhava is relating and as it was mentioned that even him remembering how Lord Krishna, as when I was giving the last class, remembering Krishna's his relationship with I forget what is the he's the king of Mathura, Ugrasena. That relationship with Ugrasena, how he acted, he was feeling great pain in his heart. What to speak of when he's starting to describe all of these things? He's remembering this wonderful pastimes of Krishna that are very attractive. So, and these cowherd boys and girls and everybody was just it's absorbed in Krishna. You read Krishna book and it's just all about him. That's it. It's all about Krishna. You go, you play, you come back, and everybody tells a story about how Krishna killed this demon and how he did this and how he did that. And all of the Vrindavan Vasis, they're like, there's no way. There's no way, how can he do that? He's just a child, he's just a mere boy. But it gives them great ecstasy to hear about Krishna. He is the life and soul of Vrindavan. He is that very soul that moves, because when he's not there, everybody becomes completely stunned. Nobody knows what to do anymore. As when Acarya came and he took Krishna, of course Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but everybody everybody couldn't move. They're watching Acarya take Krishna and they're just completely stunned. They're stunned. What are we meant to do with our lives now? What is meant to happen when Krishna leaves to go to Dwarka? The gopis are completely, what are we meant to do? How can you leave? And when Uddhava comes, there's that bee, what is that song of the bee? And so much description is there of how the gopis are completely in separation. They don't see a life outside of that. How can Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, all of the inhabitants of Vrindavan live without Krishna? They can't. That is their mood and attitude, and that is their real, feeling that this is life and soul, and Krishna is not there. There is no life. There is no Krishna life. There is no life without Krishna. Amara Jivan Sada Papirata. This is what is the use of my life if there is no Krishna? They are feeling like that. And as many devotees relate, as performing devotional service, even in our lives, we can get a little glimpse of that. What would our life be without Krishna consciousness? What would our life be without worshipping Krishna every day in the morning? What would our life be without Krishna's devotees? What would it be? It'd be complete void. Just what would those relationships with those friends and whatever children that you may have had and all of these would have been? What would it have been? It would have been completely null and void, just something to go on with. But we look back and we go, whoa, how can I live without this? We should develop that feeling, or try to develop that feeling. How can I live without Krishna? How can I live without the devotees of Krishna? You see that, the way karmis live, and it's like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Rather burn in the iron cage and associate with karmis, because Lord Chaitanya is teaching us. He's teaching us that is the burning pain when one is not around Krishna, when one is not in relationship with Krishna. So we can even conceive of it in this way, although it's inconceivable how the Vrindavan Vasis are so selfless that they don't even think about themselves, they're constantly meditating on Krishna. We have some glimpse of that within our own life also. Not that it's just up there and it's up high and we can't get there, but it's a glimpse of that is there even within our own life. That just even that small glimmer of thing is there in our heart. Of course, we have so many mature desires and that cover us up. But some glimpse is there that at least some part of our life has been, I can't live without this philosophy. I can't live without bowing down to my spiritual master. I can't live without bowing down to Srila Prabhupada. I can't live without performing devotional service. I can't live without these things. I couldn't imagine it. I can't imagine being in any other place than here. Personally speaking now, I can't. I just can't. Whatever other temple it may be, I've been to Vrindavan and stayed there for some time. But the fact that the pure message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His pure representatives are here, that's what makes it Vrindavan. For me, I don't particularly went there and I just was sinful in my mind, and my activities weren't on par with what you should do in Vrindavan. And as Mitravan Prabhu was speaking about, one shouldn't bathe his blood, pus and stool in Radha Kund. I did that. And a bad association. Doing all of these things, what conception of Vrindavan did I have? We couldn't enter into anything like this. But Mitravan Prabhu was relating that by serving Vrindavan, by serving the mission of Lord Chaitanya, we can start to get conception of that is, and that is the loving relationship with devotees that we see. That is Vrindavan. That is what literally the essence of Vrindavan is, that love of the devotees for Krishna and even amongst themselves. And so we can conceive of that in here in Krishna life. We can see that, I don't desire to go anywhere else, live anywhere. Anytime we express all the time, and devotees who travel, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get back. Because that love and affection of the devotees towards Krishna is so prominent here. I don't have that. But other devotees have that, and then gives me hope, gives us hope. Oh, maybe I can get there too. So the love and affection for Krishna, for those who, is specifically mentioned here, that they can only see, they can only conceive of it, only visible to the resident of Vrindavan. So the love and affection and the devotional service is conceivable or visible to those who practice it. To those who perform bhakti, because that by that bhakti, one can conquer Bhagavan, he can conquer him with love. And wherever that bhakti, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur relates to us, that I shall not go to that place, any place, where even if it's the dham, which is averse to the practices of devotional service. Different dhams are there in India. If it's averse to the practice of devotional service, I shall not enter that place. So this loving affection towards Krishna, this parental mood, this love for Krishna is developed in the association of devotees. He was the life and soul of everyone, including the animals, the cows and the calves. He's the life and soul of the devotees. He is, he's in their hearts and they are in their hearts. The devotees for Krishna, his devotees are his life and soul. Therefore he promises, Kunte pratijani name bhakti pranishyati. You declare, O Arjuna, I shall never, that my devotees shall never perish. You declare it. And Prabhupada mentions this multiple times in Prahlad Maharaj's, the section of, pastimes of Nrsingadev. So that Krishna is declaring like this, that let my devotee, above all, my spiritual master relates, that instead of following, he breaks so many rules and regulations. Krishna is ridiculous, and so many people criticize him for that. But the rule that he upholds the most is that he is Bhakta Vatsala. That he is very kind to all his devotees. He's very loving to all of his devotees. He puts everything above that. He did that on the battlefield to Arjuna. Forget it all. Forget dharma. Forget what is. I'm going to go protect my devotee. Takes the wheel up as a weapon. After promising I won't take a weapon. So he's Bhakta Vatsala. He's the lover of his devotees, and he does anything and everything just to see his devotees pleased. He performs all of these activities in order to satisfy Mother Yashoda, to increase her love. He does all of these things to increase Nanda Maharaj's love, to all the inhabitants' love, to stealing and lying and cheating and all of these things to increase the love of his devotees. So this is the whole thing in devotional service, to develop love for Krishna. We may not be capable of sitting like the yogis, we may not be able to philosophers like the jnanis, may not be able to be very shastric in terms of like be able to study deep knowledge and know so many verses and be able to quote from so many places, doing all of these things. But that love is specifically developed, obviously on the basis of Shastra with proper guidance, with beginning with and ending and all-encompassing with this chanting of this holy name. Begins there, ends there, doesn't end, it continues infinitely. Satatam kirtayantu mam, always glorifying. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Lord Chaitanya is teaching us that by chanting of this holy name, in this Kali Yuga, you can attain the highest platform of devotional service. One can attain this. What is that desire? With chanting with the desire of, let me please engage me in your service, O Krishna. Please engage me in your service. So Lord Chaitanya is giving us that, who is himself is relishing Gopi Bhava. He's teaching us, well, by this chanting, you can come to this platform of loving Krishna unconditionally. So it requires us to be serious in our hearing and chanting, which, we're moving towards. And by doing that, we can start to conceive of these things, that the material desires in my heart. What is this song that when all the material desires are gone with my heart, I shall be able to see Vrindavan? Gauranga bolite have. Vishaya Chadira. Sera se majia. Namukha bola. No, that's not it. I don't know, is it Narottam Das Thakur? Yeah. Shivindavan. So, that when all the material desires are within my heart, I have gotten rid of them all, then I shall be able to see Vrindavan. And the primary way of doing that is Cheto Darpana Marjanam, by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And by becoming favorable to Krishna, how? By spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement, becoming dear to the Lord, serving the Lord. So by chanting properly, by hearing properly about the Lord, and by serving the Lord properly, we can come to this platform of being able to see Vrindavan in every aspect of our lives. Srila Prabhupada is a primary example of that, always in Vrindavan. As our own spiritual master is a prime example of that, always in Vrindavan. Always thinking of Krishna, always absorbed in Krishna, not a moment. Everything they speak about is Krishna, 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 Krishna. So we have to be absorbed in that. Prabhupada often says 24 hours should go on chanting. Why only 16 hours? Why only 2 hours? It should be 24 hours in our minds. Always thinking about how to think about Krishna, that pastime, this particular philosophy of Krishna consciousness, this particular service, always absorbed, always endeavoring to absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness, not letting the mind still idle. Idle mind is the devil's workshop, right? So as soon as you think, now I've done enough, now I can enjoy, then Maya takes over. So we have to learn and teach ourselves over time how to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And the spiritual master is giving us that. We're learning from him. But we have to be self-inspired to take that up and make sure that we're doing that. Not that somebody's not watching us, now I can do whatever I like. That's not Krishna conscious. A brahmanat in the assembly and on the platform of a Shudra in your own space shouldn't be like that. But we are like that. So we have to reform ourselves. We have to attitude correctional facility. That's what this whole purpose of this is. So we should correct our attitude, we should correct our consciousness by constantly being association of devotees, like we're endeavoring to do. So by these processes of Bhagavad Shravan and Nam Kirtan, what is this, Sadhu Sangha, and then we have Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vas. By these processes, we start to be able to purify ourselves and go beyond just the mundane conception of relationships of a child and a mother or father, or the so-called transcendental conception of the yogis and jnanis, and come to the platform of bhakti, of real love for Krishna. So I'll kind of just finish it off there. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to ask or comment anything.
I have a question and a comment.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, your question first.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how in Ram Leela, the monkeys, they served Ram, they worked very hard. And then in Krishna Leela, Krishna basically just facilitated the monkeys' enjoyment by stealing the butter with them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading somewhere that these monkeys are the same, that they like reappeared in Krishna Leela. Is that true?
In Prabhupada's books, you read that? I don't have a specific
know.
relation, maybe. I don't remember reading
I don't want to say
anything like
for
that.
A fact. I kind of wanted to.
I've never
confirmation
read.
on that.
I've just heard from my spiritual master like that he was saying like that. That in his form as Rama, he was just, the monkeys had to do like that. But in his form of, when he came as Krishna, when Krishna himself is there, not when he came as Krishna, when he is Krishna, that he's distributing freely. He said, okay, enjoy. You worked hard. Okay, just enjoy. This is like Balaram. It's like next time I'm coming as your older brother, not as a younger one. Next time I'm going to be your older one because I can't handle this. And so this Krishna is giving them like this. That's how my spiritual master describes it. I haven't read anything like that specifically in Prabhupada's books.
Okay. I'll try to find something, but
Yeah.
that's not the case.
I don't know anything in the Ramayana. I don't remember. Nothing.
Also, I just had a comment. You were talking in the beginning of class how mothers are ever increasingly unable to take care of their kids. They do this baby iPad thing. Whatever.
Yeah, iPad kids.
iPad kids.
It's crazy. You got to see it to believe it.
Yeah. And
I
also-
saw it at the airport. I was like, oh, this is real. Okay, no, sorry. Go ahead.
And then also you're talking about how kids nowadays, they don't know you could eat fruit straight off of a tree. Kalakanta Prabhu was relating how this is the phenomenon of digital transhumanism. How
This is
modern
Kalakanta
society-
Prabhu. He's our God, not the Prabhupada disciple. This is other.
Brazilian
Yeah,
Kalakanta Prabhu?
yeah. This is not the Prabhupada disciple Kalakanta, but the. Okay, just make that clear.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But he was relating how this is digital transhumanism, how modern society, the attempt is to transcend human nature via technology. And therefore we're being distanced from our practical ability to actually function in reality.
Mm-hmm.
People can't grow their own food. People can't even take care of their kids. No one knows how to take care of cows. And so in this way, in modern society, we're being distanced from our natural ability to function in this world.
Mm.
And so therefore when the economy crashes, whatever, Srila Prabhupada said the civilization will eventually collapse, then the topmost people, the big CEOs, that pretty much only know how to manage a law firm or whatever it may be, they're practically useless because they can't do anything. And they have all the power in this world right now just with money, but then that money will render completely useless eventually. And the people would be so unfortunate. So, just a little comment.
Yeah, it's a crazy civilization. Demon crazy.
Hare Krishna. In the Brahma Vimohan Leela, so Krishna expanded himself as all the cowherd boys. So the parents, got their desire fulfilled to have Krishna as their son. But then a year later, when they went back to being like the normal son, did the parents like feel like less affection, you know, because it's like it's not Krishna anymore?
Yeah, nothing is described in that regard, but I don't know. I can't particularly comment on that because I don't remember reading anything like that, and I don't want to particularly speculate on that. Their love for Krishna, I mean, you know, that if with like philosophical speculation, understanding is that, well, Krishna is still there. You know what I mean? Well, it maybe the boys themselves are back, but Krishna is still present in Vrindavan. So that loving affection that grew, you know, it was for, you know, Krishna. But that, you know, like I was saying before, that generally, like, you know, all of the cowherd, you know, even now, even in this world, that affectionate love, even with one's own child, is almost is represented like that, of that relationship with Krishna. But you know, they're seeing Krishna every day, the inhabitants. So that love and affection is not that it was lost in any way. It would have continued to grow more and more for Krishna. So that's all I can say about that. I don't know. You wouldn't say that. Well, the kids came back and they didn't feel affectionate towards them anymore. I don't know about that.
Yes.
Huh?
It's mentioned in one place that they had more affection towards Krishna than their own children.
Yeah.
Presumably, it just went back to being that way.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't mean that they were neglected like what we have here in this world, you know. It doesn't mean that they didn't get to, they just forgot about their kids and, you know, it was only like that. They were, you know, doing the proper duty and all of that. Anything else?
You were mentioning earlier that when Acarya took Krishna away from Vrindavan, and like you were mentioning, like, you know, like we can get a glimpse of that from, like, you know, association of devotees and Krishna consciousness and stuff like that. And like it's like so true, you know, like when I was like, we were gone for some time, whatever, I was just thinking about the Krishna life devotees and like thinking about like Tapas Prabhu and like, you know, Chandanacharya Prabhu, Mahotsa Prabhu, everybody. I was like, man, I miss the homies. Suffering out here, suffering, like anything. And then like, you know, I can't even imagine to like start to think about like how much pain like, you know, the people had in Vrindavan when Krishna left, you know, that's like imaginable. Yeah. So like, I was like.
Prabhupada writes in one place, in regards to the cowherd boys coming back, and all the Vrindavan Vasis are there. And you must have read, everybody read this in Krishna book, that it's like the Sankirtan party comes back home. Wow. And I think specifically mentions the Grahastas is able to serve them in some way. Maybe that particular point is there, I can't remember exactly, but it's like when the cowherd boys come back home, it's just like seeing the Sankirtan party after they go out, coming back home. And it's like that for us, it really is. The Sankirtan parties go out, distributing Prabhupada's books, and they come back home and you see them, and it's like, wow, you know, it's like you wait for them, and we're waiting here, we're waiting to serve them, like we're planning the feasts and like doing all of these things to receive them. And Prabhupada saying, well, this is, and so it's so amazing how the Krishna consciousness movement, it like allows us to actually get such a glimpse of the spiritual world and actually experience that, you know, same, you know, rasa. Obviously it's not going to be to the extent, it's a glimpse of it because we're still selfish in some way and without material motives, but we can actually see that Prabhupada is like stationed our life in such a way that actually we're, you know, Prabhupada says one should follow in the footsteps of the Vrindavan Vasis. And Prabhupada said, I am that Vrindavan Vasi, you can follow me. So he's a Vrindavan Vasi, we're following him, not that we're going to Vrindavan and imagining now we're following Yashoda and Nanda and now, you know, come to the platform, but we just follow Srila Prabhupada and he's helping us come to this platform of all of these things. There's no independent. A lot of people think it's independent, Prabhupada's not giving high things, but nobody has that experience of seeing the Sankirtan party come back home and being able to like feed them so nicely, being able to, you know, arrange everything for them, even sending the Sankirtan party out. Just like the gopis, you know, the cowherd men and the gopis of Vrindavan, they have to arrange everything, make sure that the cows are taken care of properly and taken out properly. All of these things, the boys have to have, you know, their food to take out with them. They have to have the right vehicles. They have to go out, the right shoes, whatever. All of these things. So it's like, if looking at it like from that commentary of Srila Prabhupada has given us Vrindavan actually in every temple. And we can experience it to the degree that we're surrendered to that mission and mood of Srila Prabhupada. Not that we think about it like that. I'm in Vrindavan and all of this. Obviously, we're thinking, okay, I'm going out, just reading books and coming back, and we are thinking ourselves as insignificant. But like, in those purports, Prabhupada gives like that also. Anything else? Mataji's? No? Okay.
In the comments.
Atharva?
No, it's someone else.
Okay, what is
Can we make offerings to Krishna that aren't prescribed, such as I run in the morning, and if asked, my reasoning be I am chasing Krishna? Would this serve a purpose?
We don't make offerings in the morning?
No, it's like, can we make offerings to Krishna that aren't prescribed, such as I run in the morning, and if asked, my reasoning be I am chasing Krishna?
As I run in the...
For exercise,
Yeah,
like
and
you
then
run.
chasing Krishna.
And then when they're asked why, the reason is, my reasoning is, I'm chasing after Krishna. Will this serve a purpose? So they're asking, can you offer this Krishna that isn't, even though it's not prescribed?
Just follow what the Acharya has given. Do it properly. Don't concoct your own thing. I mean, the pastime is there, but you're not trying to imitate that pastime. Don't imitate. Follow what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. Offering means like, it should be done properly. So, anyways, when you're, I guess you're running. So I don't know. If you're running, then, play a lecture. I don't know. Play a lecture. Listen to kirtan. Whatever. That's the way you can be Krishna conscious. You can remember Krishna like that. Anyways, generally we don't run. Generally, Vaishnavas, we don't really run. Sports are like, generally you can play, you can swim, wrestle, and that's about it. Push-ups. Prabhupada said you can do push-ups, but generally we don't. We only run around Tulasi and in Mangalarti. So that's the only time we really run, but we don't particularly go out of our way to go on a run. Anyways, it depends, I guess. And sometimes you may be prescribed to do that for your health. But yeah, anyways, not recommended. Don't do that. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Anything else? No? All right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.